family, welcome to the NFL on EA Sports. Anticipation is mounting for today's game, and we've got two quarterbacks looking to make an impact. It's Cutler's Bears going up against Rivers' Chargers. They're getting close to kickoff in America's finest city, San Diego. So let's head out west and check in with our broadcasting team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Thank you very much, Larry. We are here on a beautiful afternoon for football. Coming up, we've got a good matchup on... On first down, it's Cutler. They go screenplay to Langford. And he's brought down, but not before a really nice stiff arm to create a little space. A good, safe pass there right off the bat.
That's almost a rhythm play. That's what we like to call it. Get them into rhythm early, something safe, something they're confident about, something they feel good. And once that's completed, then you just keep moving from there because the confidence elevates. 2nd and 1 and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
Now Cutler on first down. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off. And now off to the races down the right side. And he brings this one back. It's a pick six and a Charger TD. And the defense could not have written a much better script than that first drive, pick six.
The offense never got a chance to really get oiled up there, did they? But the defense, they certainly got in gear. What a big-time play and a great way for them to start.
And now the offense, they've got to turn things around and figure this out because your backs are on the ground real quickly. Yeah,
usually when you're starting the game getting the ball, 0-0 is the only score you're worried about. Now the second time you get it, you're already down a touchdown.
Onto the field now come the Bears. On 1st and 10, it's Cutler. Looking for his running back, and he's got him. Jeremy Langford. Touchdown, Chicago. Jeremy Langford, 75 yards. And the Bears are an extra point away from tying the football game. It's good, and we're all tied at 7 apiece. So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. They come up in an offset eye. They'll run. This is Melvin Gordon. And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. This offensive unit, often they rely on the sure-handed Antonio Gates.
We know all about his basketball background, but his football acumen, one of the best tight ends in the league.
On 2nd down, they'll run with Gordon. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. And still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Rivers, hard throw, incomplete. He was looking for Antonio Gates that time. And it's 4th down.
I'm not sure we could spot any tendency here on this 3rd down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
Well, the offense is not leaving the field. They're going to stay out and go for it on 4th and 3. On 4th down, they snap it to Rivers. It's hauled in here by Edmond. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the Bears are going to get the football back, and they're going to get it in great field position. Now the Bears offense ready to take over again. And last time the formula was pretty simple. One play drive, long pass. That maybe they just want to do that again, right?
And that's exactly how you want to draw things up. Whether it's on your grease board, right, in your playbook, one play drive is exactly what you want on offense. What they have to be careful of is not having a letdown. It was really easy last time. They can't expect that going forward.
Yeah, we'll see if it's that easy here. The defensive line disperses a little bit here, maybe expecting a pass. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown.
Now Cutler in trouble. He lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from it. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
It's a gain of 7, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. So 4th down, John Fox will turn it over to his field goal unit. From the right hash here, should be an easy one. And Barth puts it through. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. So a little fortunate there because that one was definitely leaking right.
Without a doubt. Maybe about the width of a football or so inside that right upright. But he got it to go.
That's fielded in the end zone. The Chargers offense gets set. They head back onto the field. And on that last drive, went for it on 4th, turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on 4th down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3. And that's exactly what happened.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
Right side catch. This is Gates. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll be a 2nd down.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue. A 1st down throw here for Rivers. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
And the play goes for 19 yards, gives him a new set of downs.
Hunter Henry out of the University of Arkansas was definitely the consensus top tight end in the 2016 draft. I thought he might sneak into the 1st round. He didn't. But I think that Phillip Rivers is really happy to have him in San Diego. They're already starting to make that connection.
That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it 1st and goal. Throwing, Rivers. Flush to his right. And he is going to go down. He will be sacked on the final play of this 1st quarter. Back now to begin the 2nd quarter with Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin. It's the Chargers here with a football. And they'll come up looking to keep this drive moving. And now the offense will look to respond after the sack. Now a 2nd down throw for Rivers. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup, and that's going to bring up an interesting 3rd and goal.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
No gain on the play that time, so a big stop, and it's going to leave him with a 4th and goal.
Partner, it's decision time now. I know it's still just the second quarter, but you have an opportunity to...
And he's in for a Charger touchdown. Melvin Gordon from 3 yards out, and the Chargers are going to retake the lead. Big 4th down conversion for the score, and the defense, that is a tough goal to swallow.
Big time for them. How about them just deciding to go for it on 4th down? And, okay, forget the field goal, because that looked like an easy 3 points. Yeah, you might have had a defensive breakdown in there, but they pressed the issue and found a way to get it into the end zone. Give them big credit for that.
The Bears offense now getting ready to take over. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Give them 11 on the gain there, and it'll be a Chicago 1st down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the fly. Sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field. Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. He's able to get to the second level almost before you blink.
That's caught inside the 20. Touchdown, Chicago. Zach Miller, 51 yards. And the Bears have once again taken the lead. And Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they just went 4 verts there against cover 2, didn't they?
They did, and it's really an excellent route versus cover 2 because the longer it develops, the more stress is put on the safeties because they're the ones back, each with half the field responsibilities. The corners don't retreat very far in cover 2. They're closer to the line of scrimmage, so now you've got 4 receivers putting pressure on 2 guys covering. Usually you'll find someone open, and that's exactly what they did there. Made the catch and carried it all the way into the end zone.
Here comes the Chargers offense now back out onto the field. And that last drive, so effective in the passing game, resulting in the touchdown. Maybe not many people were focused on the trenches. There was good protection there.
Excellent protection. So now defensively, you've almost got to get down to those starters blocks like you're a sprinter. Get lower than those guys on offense and find a way to roar through them or around them to get into the face of the passer.
Easier said than done, though.
Way easier said than done. But they've got to try something because right now they're just cutting them to shreds.
This is Gordon as they go to him again. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, that's almost a tendency breaker.
They go play action here on 1st down. He's got time in the pocket. He's going to float this one deep right side. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
I know the initial focus was on how far that pass was downfield, but how about the coverage on the play? Able to stay with him, get his hands where the receiver's hands were going to try and catch the ball, tips it up in the air, and knocks it away.
5 wides in the game, 4 of them to the right side. Throwing Rivers. Gates with a grab. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Well, the strategy was evident there. Get it to your tight end and make it a one-on-one play with him.
And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Akeem Hicks coming in to drop him for a loss of 8, and it'll be 4th down. Here's Drew Kaiser now as he's on a punt for the first time this afternoon. And a great job on special teams to down it as this will be marked out inside the 5-yard line. The Bears offense now heading back out onto the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good. So they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan. And Thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them the last time out. Let's see if they can come back and put together a similar drive.
And we'll see if they can do just that. And Miller with it over the middle. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and it'll make it second down.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
Now it's Cutler. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete. He was looking for Zach Miller as tight end there, and it's third down.
Normally, he's pretty reliable. Usually catches what's thrown to him. On that play, he simply dropped it.
Let's see if the defense tries any pressure here on 3rd and 8. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. On 3rd down, Cutler. And he's got Miller. And he will have a first down at about the 21-yard line.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
A quick pivot here to discuss something you and I were going over this morning, and that's Miami. Jay Ajayi, 2 straight games over 200 yards, and they're really starting to come into life.
Won their last 2 games. They're now 3-4. And a little note of melancholy, though. Arian Foster, who signed with Miami this past offseason, announced his retirement. Had a great career, especially with the Houston Texans.
Yeah, sad to see him go. Had an NFL rushing leading year. Also had 4 Pro Bowls under his belt. So a ways to go here on 3rd and 10. Cutler to throw again. He's going to find his running back. It's complete. And a nice gain of 21 yards. So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels. So 2 minutes to go in a wild first half. We'll come back to San Diego after this timeout. And some changes here as the D-line separates some. They'll throw on first down with Cutler. On the right side, this is Miller. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. Offense walks to the line for play number 7 of the drive. To throw again is Cutler. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Alshon Jeffrey, the intended receiver. And it's 3rd down.
There are a good number of coaches at any time they call an in route are really worried about the play because there's so much traffic ordinarily that the ball has to get through to get to the receiver. And on that play, it was batted down.
Again, it's Cutler. Drops it off for carry. And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield. And no move to get the offense off the field. They're going on 4th and 5.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. 12 yards is the pickup there. And they're able to pick up the conversion here on 4th down. Here's Cutler to throw. Oh, he stays up. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Now the Chargers are going to look up here and signal for a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. And a really long drive here, and it goes on and on. Now Cutler to throw on 2nd down. And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion. And both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
They'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. There he goes, right side. Touchdown, Chicago. Kadeem Carey, 49 yards. And the Bears will add on to their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here of the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
After the touchdown, Barth now to kick it away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. The Chargers offense now, they get set to head back on the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Rivers, and nowhere to get away. Rivers is dropped. And now the Bears electing to call a timeout defensively. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. 3rd and long for Rivers. Eluding the pressure right. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Adrian Amos with a pick.